Hi, everyone, and welcome to the special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and Author's Corner, another podcast for Frank Fiore. Frank, how are you? Because you've written more than just Western books. You've written many different books. You're a best-selling author, and you're really excited about our guest today.
Yep, pretty good. Hi, Neil. I'm doing really well. And like you said, I have written both nonfiction and fiction books. And we're enjoying our beautiful snowy weather here in Prescott.
Okay.
And
And
then
I'm not far from you. I'm in Sedona.
oh my gosh, you are. You're just a couple hours away. Did you get a lot of snow up there?
No, we got just a touch. It flurried, but it didn't really stick.
Yeah, I know. It's always warmer in Sedona for some reason. I don't know why, but it is. Must be all that psychic energy, right?
All the
Anyway, so
vortexes.
well, we welcome you to the show and give you a little background. You have autoimmune disease, it says here. You've eliminated toxins in your life and you learned how to eat the rainbow. And so we want to get a little bigger background on you. So tell us about your background, where you are, where you've been, and where you want to go.
I had my own business. I was designing jewelry for big box jewelers like Macy's and J.C. Penney and Kohl's. And I was doing everything to make my business successful except take care of me. And my body started talking to me and I was ignoring it. It went through my brain with the speed of light that all kinds of little symptoms were popping up and I just pushed through them. I was traveling all over the world to do what I was doing. And then I was in Los Angeles, so I kept getting on planes to go to the East Coast to my customer. Well, one morning I woke up and I couldn't get out of bed because everything in my body hurt. And I went to the doctor. I thought maybe it was the flu. We ran 4 rounds of tests, and my conventional doctor came back and said, guess what? There's nothing wrong with you, but I want you to seek mental therapy. And I went, that's ridiculous. Something is very wrong with my body, and I'm going to find it. So I had a very well-trained staff. I turned my business over to them, and I dug in without having a clue what I was even looking for. I tripped in what's called the functional medical community. And they were running 19 symposiums with multiple doctors. And what caught my attention first was they all got sick and couldn't help themselves. So they started talking about why they went on for additional education in functional medicine, which looks at the entire body, not just at one body system. And I started making notes. I wrote down that I probably had something called toxic load. I wrote down that I probably had autoimmune disease. And then I started making notes about what I was going to do about it. So I knew my cortisol was so low, it was almost to Addison's disease. So I knew I had to start with stress. So I started taking yoga classes and learning 3 to 4 minute stress exercises that I could do throughout the day to let the top off my stress, because we all have stress, but chronic stress impacts every organ in the body. So that's where I started. Being from California, we'd had GMO on the ballot, and I had no clue what it was, and it failed. So then I dug into food. I was shocked that GMO meant that food was actually grown with something called Bt toxin right in it, which was poisoning us, or was being completely doused in glyphosate, which is Roundup, which we now know causes cancer. So I started looking into why I needed to eat organic and learning everything I could about food, and changed my diet. Being in California, I had great farmers markets. So I was getting produce at the farmers market on Saturday that was picked the night before, which is when it has all the phytonutrients that we need to function. And ultra processed food not only has all the chemicals of the pesticides and the herbicides in it, but most of the ingredients are synthetic and the body can't use them. So I stopped eating any processed food at all. And then the third thing I did, there's a site called ewg.org that lists how many toxins are in all the products we use. And I started systematically eliminating all the things in my life that were heavy with toxins. I was shocked. first thing I looked up was my French makeup. It was a 9 on a 10-point scale.
Oh,
I
wow.
literally was poisoning myself right through my skin. So it took me 5 years on my own, but I started to return to wellness and I started to function really well. And I decided, because I was getting into conversations with other people everywhere, that I was going to go back to school at 67 to become a coach, a health coach, so that I had some credential. My degree is in English. So I went back to school. I became a health coach, hung up my shingle. And as I graduated from health coach school, they asked if I would like to write a book. I did. That's where I used my English background, and my first book, which is called It Feels Good to Feel Good, has won 17 awards, and it really launched me in my coaching career. And I work with people not only with chronic illness, but I want to catch people before they get into the pit that I was in so that they don't have to climb back out. So when I'm working with entrepreneurs, my point is you can't be great if you don't feel great. So start paying attention to all the self-care things you're not paying attention to now that I wasn't paying attention to, because it's a hard climb out. But if you do it all along, not only does it improve your business life because you have more brain power, you have better relationships. Food is directly related to depression and mood. So you're a lot more fun to be around for your customers and your employees. So if you don't take care of yourself, you can't be as great as you want to be.
100%. And I wanted to talk about fibromyalgia. So that's what you were diagnosed with after the whole process?
5 years later, yeah, I finally went to a functional doctor, and she immediately said, "I know what's wrong with you. You've got fibromyalgia." And I had mono as in my 20s, and people who get that, it's called Epstein-Barr, often get fibromyalgia. I didn't know any of that stuff. So it was really, and she immediately started looking at my whole body and putting all the missing puzzle pieces into place for my health. So it was fabulous.
So your health is your wealth. And here's the bottom line is if you don't feel healthy, 2+ years ago, I separated from my now ex-wife, and my health was in absolute terrible shape. And I went and started to get healthier, working out, but also eating right, understanding what's in my body, understanding what it feels like. And the more that I eat healthy and exercise, the better I feel, the less pain. I saw it the same way. I worked the candle both ends, didn't ignore my body, constantly ignored my body.
Yeah, my body
And when
was
I
yelling
ignore
at
my
me.
body, it's just what's happening is your health is deteriorating to the point where you're going to be able to, your health is going to be in shambles. Well, I did that. That again, people say I look like 5-10 years younger than I did when I 2 to 3 years ago, because I saw how important it is to stay healthy, to eat. I'm big into intermittent fasting. I intermittent fast a lot. I don't eat a lot till maybe dinner sometimes. And some days I can just go 12 hours without eating. And it really helps the process. And when I eat the right foods, I know when they're right. I've
Yeah,
gone
my body
gluten-free
rewards me.
before. I've gone gluten-free before, and it was the best thing. So, Frank, I'm going to pass it on to you for another question, but I wanted to talk about how important that is an entrepreneur, especially we're going to live to 100, 120, 130 down the line, the next generation of people. If they don't take care of their health, they're not going to, and they're going to be in a nursing home or an assisted living, and they're going to basically be stuck to a machine or in a bed. There goes my point.
Yeah, you're so right, Neil. I mean, with the advancements in medicine, people, and if they take care of themselves, just like what you're saying, there's no reason why you can't live past 100. And if the generation now coming up, this young generation, or people under 50, or people under 40, or even in the 30s, right now is the time for them to start getting control of their health, because they will live to 100, up to 100. Question is it going to be a healthy, enjoyable 100, or is it going to be a miserable one and you're going to be bedridden? So Cheryl is absolutely correct. You have to get control of your health, and you have to realize that you can live, we can live long and live healthy and happy. I want to ask you something, Cheryl. What do you think are the 3 most important lifestyle habits to promote the success in your life, and what are the advantages adopting to them?
I actually have 20 pillars of health. If there was one more that I would add to the three I just mentioned, it absolutely is movement. There's a lot of research being done that movement is as important as what we're feeding our body, because those are the things that give us the energy to sustain our little energy centers, which are the mitochondria in the cells. But getting 7+ hours of sleep at night, that
100%.
last hour is what sweeps the plaque out of your brain so you don't get dementia. And I had my 75th birthday yesterday, and I don't want to go to dementia. So all these things are important to put into place. And one of them is community. If you surround yourself with other people with healthy habits, you have a much better chance of being healthy. And the Blue Zone study, which is the people who live the longest and the healthiest in the world, has come to the conclusion that community is number one for health. So if you're around people with lousy lifestyle habits, you probably are going to have lousy lifestyle habits. So community is also incredibly important. People sort of move towards us. I actually went the guy I was with didn't want to change. So I went looking for somebody to go on a get well journey with me, and I married him 8 years ago, so we've done this together. I lost 65 pounds without dieting. He lost 80, but we feel fantastic, and our friends all thought we were crazy. But as we would cook for them and have them over, they all began to move towards us because they saw how good we looked and how good we felt, and they wanted some of that too. So we've sort of created our own community by not going away from our habits. They're non-negotiable, but people move towards us that are in our life, which was fun.
That's fantastic. And people say, I just turned 51, Cheryl. So, and I have the energy of a 30, 25 and the way I work and the way I'm able to go, and then energy to keep going. But I know it's eating, because if I eat some terrible foods, I'm tired and I want to go to sleep. So if I eat foods like, a big, big meal, I feel it. I feel it inside. I feel it in every way. But the challenge is to eat healthy, having kombuchas every day, having a nice fresh salad, eating the right vegetables, eating meals, but very smaller meals, many meals a day. And being able to do that, it takes a lot of work. It's not easy. It's easier to go to the fast food route. It's easier to go to the processed food route. You really have to put the effort in and set yourself up to do that. And you're right. Being around people with that same lifestyle makes it much easier than being around people that are not.
And I can cook a meal if I have the right ingredients and food quality matters faster than I can get in the car and go for fast food. It's a mindset shift. If it's important to you, you figure out how to do it. And most restaurants are serving the same, what I call crap, which is carbonated, refined, artificial, and processed, as you're buying in the boxes at the grocery store. So I also have learned to vet my restaurants. I talk to the chef before I go there to make sure he can feed me, because it's not negotiable that I'm going to eat healthy food, but it's doable. And if you set your mind to it, that it's not negotiable and you're more important than putting that stuff into your body, it is more than doable. So, and if I don't eat right, oh my God, my body complains immediately. I have a conversation every morning with my body. I ask it, how is it doing? I tell it that I love it. And then I ask it, how does it feel? And if it's off in any way, I react to those symptoms immediately, because symptoms are the language it speaks. So I'm not going back. I listen to my body very carefully. And this is what I teach to people that I work with. Once you start to feel great, you're not willing to give it up. So you got to go through the period of time. And people who take my Ditch the Standard American Diet class start to notice the difference within 4 weeks. They don't go all the way back to health, because how many years did it take them to get where they're at? But they can feel the difference, and they break the addiction to sugar and chemicals, and it's huge.
That's great. That's some good information and good advice. And the people that you coach, I bet you they're very happy with the results.
I get incredible testimonials. People who have been sick for years, who were really resistant to give up all this processed food, who then take my class and write to me and go, I can't believe how good I feel.
Yeah. And
I can't believe the
it's
difference.
so difficult. And then you get people from when I came back to Pittsburgh that are like, why do you want to only have this? Why do you want, because of how I feel. But again, the problem is you got to have the people around you that are willing to do that. And you see it change your body so quickly when you go from one extreme to the other. Where's the best place people can connect with you, Cheryl, to learn more about you, sign up for coaching, purchase your book? Where's the best place they can go?
I am very active on Facebook, and I am Cheryl Meyer 3 on Facebook. But I also have a very robust website called Cheryl M Health Muse. That's the Cheryl M Health Muse on the bottom of my screen.com. And I put out a magazine last spring that is loaded with great health information. It has my 20 pillars of health. It has why I think it's so important to eat the rainbow and all the phytonutrients and what they mean to your body. It's got 3 whole things on toxins and why you've got to get them out of your life. And there's even apps now. It's a lot. I was looking up every ingredient one at a time. Now there's apps that you can just flash your code on and it'll tell you whether you ought to put that in your cart or you ought to put it back on the shelf. So there are things you can do if you own your own health that will help you return to wellness.
All right. We appreciate it, Cheryl. Thanks again. All right,
Yeah,
guys.
Thank you.
That was a special simulcast of Author's Corner in the Neil Haley Show. Guys, take care.